Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, it's Friday. Fridays suck, usually. But, let's be positive. Let's be positive. What do we get today? Do we get anything today? Do you have any fun stuff? Preliminary University of Massachusetts consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. Also, some Fed speakers speaking later in the day. Well, let's go to the charts. Yesterday, let's look in the Treasuries. Yes, so yesterday we had some good news. What was it? I don't even remember now. It was like the Philly Fed. Yes, it was the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index was really good. It is a local manufacturing index, and that sort of thing can, is not necessarily super predictive anyways, but they really liked it. So during most of our session, we had down, but then much later in the day after we were gone, the Fed's Williams came out and said, you have to act before the recession happens. And it's better to react ahead of time, and then, if you're wrong, you can just adjust later. So they went up, and the Fed Watch tool is giving us some crazy readings. Like they're saying there is a 50% chance now that we get 2 cuts, so we get a 50 basis point cut in the next meeting, which I personally think is crazy. Yeah. So they have since walked back his comments. So let me say that again. They have since walked back his comments. The New York Fed has. Okay. So I think the chances that we get a 50 basis point cut is extremely low. I think it's probably like 90% chance that they just do a quarter of a point. Okay. But the market is pricing in 50% chance. And just kind of knee-jerk reaction. So given that, I think my preference is going to have to be down today. They're on the open. They did do a little bit. Down. But yeah, I digress. Let's make sure we have our sheet up. Oh, I guess we should look at the E-mini too. I mean, the E-mini also liked the comments. So we had a pretty bad down, and whoosh. I don't know. And Uzi says ZB and ES all have really wide initial balances are trapped inside them. It's weird. Yeah. So, load the levels here. Okay. So we are below the bull bear zone. But not the opening range low is down there. Opening range high is like way oh wow. The whole range is the opening range, huh? Oh jeez. I wish there was a way to make Jigsaw do this automatically. Pete, get on that. Today's either going to be really interesting or really boring. Well, I think that interesting is the right word, because with that wide of an overnight range and opening range and that level of, I guess you could say, imbalance, this is almost guaranteed to move. But that does not mean that you have really good probabilities on it, right? It's going to move because the traders are going to make it move, and not necessarily because there's a reason to move it. Okay, so there was a decent amount of big orders on the open. So we're just going to say that it happened at 17.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. just going to put that as a continuation. Well, they might have done something there. Where was that block order at? 15. Well, to get a block order and already be up to 15, 16 is not good for whoever puked down there, is it? Anyways, I think they were probably going to move down and test yesterday's levels. Like when I think that a 12.5 is a very very possible in the 10-year. But I think that it is going to be really tricky trading. Just notice here, by the way, as we move down, the offer's pulling. So this is something, I think of everything. Oh, you know what? I need to switch it over here. Okay. You see the offer's pulling right there? That red. So this is something that I find incredibly interesting. And I think that it kind of, I don't want to say that it contradicts, but in reality, it does contradict one of the big things that we've been told, because they're always saying you want to look for stacking and pulling. And what happens if we're down here at 16 and all of a sudden the 15 half pulls, and then we tick down and the 15 pulls and we tick down, and then that's often a lure and they flip it on you there. And that's the sort of a thing that we've been looking for. But what I'm seeing here with the big orders is that it's really a much better signal if we're moving up and these bids disappear way back here. It means that they're giving up because they know it's not coming back. And so it's a really good continuation signal. Anyways, I double checked my indicator and I was looking, looking at these. These are there, but it's like, you know what? We should fix it. We're going to change it right now, okay? Let's change these two right here that are bids to have a minimum filter of 50. I think 50 would be appropriate. And let's see if that shows us anything different. Okay, so already it's not. Yep, it's working correctly. Cool. Question is, how common are the 50 lots? But it seems to me that there's these robots, particularly on the first two inside levels, that are always kind of flickering. And it seems to me that like 95% of all level 2 changes are those, which is why you tend to get the same thing on the bid and the ask in terms of level 2 changes. If I could detect a change between retail people to see if there was more buying or selling, that would be really great. But we'd have to come up with a better way to identify them. Perhaps we could say when it's put on outside of the inside 2 or something. If you wanted to go long at 15, you would needed to leave the order working. Yeah, and I don't know if we actually got a signal there either. Why do I still have this efficiency over on this? That one doesn't work anymore. Or doesn't work on that chart. Anyways, so you can see some offers pulling again. I don't know if they're going to come back to that 15 for a while. Oh, look at that. I think he's fighting it there at 15.5. He's really fighting it there at 15.5. So I think that would be one of those situations where you could really look to see if people get trapped, but it didn't really do it quite. It's really insistent. Ooh, okay, maybe. Okay, now I think maybe you could buy 16. Let's see. Offers be like, wow. I like that, Lucas. No, they're not just going to let them take 16 either. Nope. Well, we need to pull up Discord here. So make sure that Discord is nice and lively for people that don't want to watch. Yep. So far, that one seems to be going well. So I'm going to identify that one as bid stacking entry at 16. And so we're going to say that it was down and reversal. And the day, I think, is down. Oh, wait, this is supposed to be the trend day. This is a trend day. This was a trend day. Well, a trendy day, we're going to say. It wasn't like a trendy, but it was like trendy, if that makes sense at all. So even when we go with 50 lots, you can't really see. Maybe if you just only show the small guys? I don't know. Another thing that we could potentially do is we could make a difference thing. So we could say, how many more are there bids than asks? That I think that would maybe be useful. Because then at the very least we could look at, like, are there more buyers or sellers? If that makes sense. Lucas. Do you have a divergence indicator? What do you mean? For like divergence between these two? I'm trying to think here if I can. Oh no, that's the tape. Let me look at this somewhere. No, where is it? Where are you? Control center. There we go. Oh, my July tracking and stuff is all over here. Okay, well, let's use that one then. Like bonds are trading higher, ZN at the bottom of the range. Well, I mean, I have this spread. I don't know how you would put that as like, So are you saying you want to know when the spread moves, and it's moving because of opposites, like ZN went up and ZB went down or something like that? So what I'm seeing right now, is definitely some flattening in the knob. If I can bring it over here, you can see knob moving down. What does that mean? Well, oops. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. I clicked the wrong button. It means when we came up, ZB moved much further than ZN did. So this one is higher, this one is lower. That's, that's the way I look at it. Is like, this is steepening and this is flattening, right? So what did we get? We got flattening. So you're better to buy in ZB. You're better to sell in ZN. And you have to factor that into the order flow. Okay, so we are getting a signal here. Well, 10,000 is not enough. When you limit to 50 lots, it really changes. Like there's not nearly as many 50 lots. What we saw was ZB trade 22 and is not 7 ticks off the lower part of the range. ZN is actually below overnight range at 17.5. Yeah. I think that your spread indicator is probably the only thing that you can really look at that with. I do have an indicator for correlation, and what you would probably see there is the correlation go completely off. But there's some problems with the correlation, so I never really ended up putting it on my charts, as it's too easy for the different data series to get off from each other, if that makes sense. BitMEX is under investigation now too. That happened today. Wow. Wait, did it move? No. Fishy stuff. BitMEX is getting CFTC to investigate whether BitMEX broke US trading law. Let's read. Okay, I guess what we saw there at 17, we do have to count that as, okay, so 17. We can say that this one was 2 and 1. Okay. And this one, we're going to say range, because it went into a zipper. Trend And overall, the daily trend is down. There's got to be a way to filter those. So like all of that right there is kind of... What we should do is we should make like a Vista chart. We should make like a Vista chart where instead of showing the absolute amount of orders there, we'll show how much the amount of orders changed during that time period. I'm kind of tempted to just pull it out and start programming it right now, but I think we should pay attention, huh? Pay attention, and we should read this report about Bitfinex, or about BitMEX. According to Bloomberg report on Friday, citing anonymous sources, the probe would be months long to investigate the issue, as Seychelles-based BitMEX is not registered with the CFTC. In 2018, BitMEX, the largest merchant trading platform for Bitcoin, was forced to close North American users' accounts following the letter from the Canadian regulators informing the company it was in breach of as an unlicensed entity. U.S. regulators have been clamping down on crypto trading firms in recent months. For instance, Bittrex and Poloniex delisted tens of tokens earlier this year over concerns they could be deemed as securities by the SEC. Binance also announced it was withdrawing from the U.S. last month, although it is planning to open a regulated fiat-to-crypto exchange for American users on a separate platform. BitMEX also returned to the limelight when it came under fire from Nouriel Roubini. The crypto skeptic pointed to the exchange as an example of a firm that is openly involved in systematic illegality. He cited research that estimates liquidations of customer savings comprise as much as half of BitMEX's revenue, and that according to his sources inside the company, terrorists and criminals from Russia and Iran purportedly use BitMEX services for money laundering on a quote-unquote massive scale. For its part, Arthur Hayes told Bloomberg, BitMEX provides fast, safe, professional, and liquid ways for those who see the potential of crypto and to trade and hedge cryptocurrency risk. We continue to monitor all legal and regulatory developments around the world and will comply with all applicable laws and regulations. We reject any allegations of criminality, manipulation, or unfair treatment of our customers who are at the center of everything. You're so full of bullshit, dude. I'm sorry, but I think he's full of shit. BitMEX is like, you want to come out and say like, oh, we value our customers. What we do is important. Bullshit. What you do is you liquidate traders all day. That's what effing BitMEX is. I don't think we've had a single set of guys that comes into our channel, like our Bitcoin channel on the Discord, and comes in and says, oh yeah, I've been doing the margin trading and, doing really good, and they stick around forever. You know what I mean? Okay. So we were within a range and we ticked down. So I think that also counts as a signal, right? Wasn't paying too heavy attention to it. So then it went from range to down at 16.5. Didn't actually go against you, believe it or not. It's a trend day, down day. But it's interesting. Cryptocurrency market hasn't reacted to it. They bought yesterday. Can I say, by the way, when you look at that chart down there in the lower left corner of the screen, they came down to 9,000 and they just bounced off it like it was nothing. And I'm kind of starting to think, it's a little bit too clean. Don't you think? Like, think of it this way. You are manipulating Bitcoin. And you really, really, really don't want it to go down. Because if it goes down, you're out like tons of money. So you're doing everything that you can to prop it up. Okay? This thing does almost exactly what you would do if that's what your manipulation was, right? If that was your see, if you were out just to make money, you would go short. And you would just crush these guys here. At the very least, you would try and create chaos by making it go past 9K. But if you were really concerned and that the market would fall apart at that point, then you're going to make sure it bounces. You know what I mean? Like, the E-mini would never trade like that. The E-mini, they would absolutely, without question, take the jump first, and then, oops, false breakout. I find it suspicious. I know that's probably what I'm seeing there is probably just a figment of my own confirmation bias, but that's just the way that I see it. It seems fishy to me. Then they made a new low on that push. Immediately turned down. Offers pulling. That's interesting. A lot of offers pulling, in fact. Good morning, Algo Lover. Good to see you again. We've had you like, what, 3-4 days in a row now? Reversal. Or I guess you could put that as a continuation. So that was at 15. So this one was just 1 and 1, and then this one you got 1, 2, 3 out of it. And this one you've got 1, 2 so far. Nice to be seen. Well, I try to keep track of who's who. I mean, like, we only have, well, it's less than a dozen guys that speak regularly, that chat regularly. And it's usually only about 20 people watching at a time. Although the stats indicate that we get about 100 viewers a day. And I don't know if that's part of that is like people watching the video multiple times or something like that. But because it kind of seems weird to me that it's 100 people watching, but only 20 at a time. And I don't know how much of those are like, well, actually I do, because it says that the majority of them are subscribers. So I don't know. So to me, it's kind of like, we got to remember everybody. I know I don't do a super good job at it, but I don't think remembering names and people is something that I'm very good at. But the way that I look at it, I'm not like a super amazing trader, right? I'm not, we're not doing anything like that. At least I don't think we're doing something that's making you like tons of money. So then the reason that we're here is for the interaction. So it's our obligation to know everybody and make sure that everybody feels welcome and knows that we appreciate them. Okay, so what's he got here? If buyers maintain their bid above 29.92, then 30.15 target. If 29.92 breaks before that target trades, then anticipate a deeper pullback. Interesting. But you're still looking at that 29.92 level, basically. Well, 29.92 is still, I don't know. It's really hard to predict what they're going to do. You are very analytical. I like that. Oh, thanks. I never, growing up, I never considered myself, I didn't really think of it like that analytical, but especially after so I started taking medication for my ADHD about the same time that I started trading. Like, I think that I did that whole thing, well, it was a year. So I had been on it for a year and then I started trading. And one of the first things that I found when I was on the medication was I was way more analytical. like when I'm on the internet now, so, hold on, selfish fish selfish fish 9000, thank you. You want to call me daddy, that's totally okay. I mean, I'm pretty old. I'm pretty old for the Twitch platform, aren't I? So I'm like almost, wait, how old am I? I'm 34. Yeah, I'm 34. So you're old when you have to think about it, right? Anyways, I guess there's a couple of guys on Twitch. Some of the really good players on Twitch are in their 30s, huh? I can be good. I can be okay. They don't really play my kind of game anymore. I did pick up Overwatch again yesterday though, because they're gonna do a roll queue. I'm gonna give that Overwatch a try again. Anyways, so I found when I got on the ADHD medication that it was like, especially when I'm on like Reddit or Facebook and somebody says something that is just not accurate or doesn't follow logic and has logical fallacies in it, I cannot stand it. It actively bothers me now. Whereas before I was just kind of like going with the flow and just kind of feeling everything out. Review this call from yesterday. Didn't get the 2970 target on the initial sell, but the squeeze got us here, yeah. If not, then anticipate another down rotation target to 2970. I totally see the logic in your call. Like, I think that I definitely see something on that price level as well. The one reservation I have with it is that this market seems to be completely out of balance because it was moved by news that probably shouldn't move it. And so, like, it's just kind of like musical chairs right now, right? And when everybody sits back down, I don't know where it goes. And it's further complicated by the fact that we're on Friday. So it's kind of like some of the other guys were talking about, maybe it just ends up doing nothing today. So I think that this one was only good for 2 is what we're going to say, because we got another signal, essentially. Down trend. The move was up. I think it's going to be a reversal at 15.5. Let's see. Excuse me. I'm just I'm just thinking about my indicator and thinking about different things that we can do. Because those 2 columns that we have, the ones showing the big orders, definitely, that's definitely useful. And the one that it shows everything, that's definitely useful. But trying to split it out by showing all bids and all asks and seeing if there's differences between them does not seem incredibly useful to me. And I'm wondering if I change my indicator, I thought about adding this filter in before, but I just never did. if I add another filter to say only show the inside X levels or only show the outside X levels, would that tell us something? But I'm kind of sitting here thinking that it probably wouldn't. Maybe I'm wrong, but you get what I mean? Well, I think I could do one thing. Is that going to be a continuation? I guess it would make sense. So I have this set up so that we can, at the top and bottom, it shows us the total liquidity, right? But we can never scroll up that far, so it's kind of pointless to have that. So, well, we need a 10K order is what we need on there so we can see how much room we got. So I'm thinking maybe I could move these in a little bit and I could put the snapshot columns on. Out like that. Or conversely, we could make it a little bit smaller. We could also come in and, like we could go down to 14. Oh, that doesn't really make a big difference, does it? That doesn't really help us too much. I can do that. That helps a bit. Certainly that. But see, I feel like I need to leave at least one. Parameters. Snapshot depth. Oh, the snapshot depth should be everything, man. Show me everything. Huh? See? So it's those moving up and down that seems to move everything the most. Oh, so CL, if sellers break market below 55.45, then 54.55 target. If buyers defend 55.45, then anticipated squeeze higher. Remember, large firms have planned trades, which always supersede. Yeah, well, yeah, totally. Okay, so that right there, I think that I need to change something here. Oh, okay. 0. 0 on the filter. Yes. No. 1. 1. Okay. See, if we take out like those first 2 or 3 levels in and only look at those changes, I think we might have something. I'm going to do it. And just do it on a different screen here so that I'm not blocking what we see here. I'll just put it over here in front of my camera, so I don't need to see that. That way I can still read you guys. And I want to say Okay, where is it? Here it is. Here we go. Period, min filter, max filter, that's what we want. Min level filter and max level filter. What's the pulling and stacking look like? 40 levels deep, yeah. Well, it's funny. So note here, one, let's do it from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Do you see how there's a bunch of orders going on 8 ticks away? 11 and 14, 11 and 14. So that's a robot, probably. This market has gone pretty dead, though. And then I need to change. Then I need to do one of these. Control C. Oh, no, wait, no, that's not actually what I want at all. We get caught up in the minutia, which offers the brain data overload. Yes, it's stuck in a tiny range. Hopefully it will change with the equity open. Yeah, I agree. Well, you're right, Algo. I have this up because I'm trying to use it to determine something. So what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to find a way to filter out the humans from the robots. So here I can see every time that somebody changes something, every time somebody puts an order on the exchange. And here I have it every time that a bid changes and every time that an offer changes. And this is when they stack and this is when they pull. But do you see how the stacking and pulling and the bids and offers are almost the same? There's a slight difference between them, but they're almost the same. And I know that it's not an error in my program because when I do it down, when I look at only large orders, then it's correct and it shows us exactly what we should see, or at least what I would expect to see. But not when we are doing it with everything, although the numbers are different. The numbers are different. And so I believe that what's happening is these are the same because there's these guys stacking and pulling constantly on the outside. And so that's why the numbers end up being the same. Basically, the robots are doing so much activity that we can't really see what normal people are doing. Do you know machine learning? I mean, kind of. I'm not quite sure how we would use machine learning in this kind of situation to filter out a tick, you know what I mean? That's kind of hard. Certainly not a criticism, just an observation, yeah. So what I'm thinking is if we just pull out the inside 3. I'm going to say the inside 3. Then what does it show? Okay, so it shouldn't be size though. It should be market depth update dot position, right? Yes. Position. And that's not a thing that changes negative, is it? It is not. Okay. I mean, if you train your algos, it should learn something. I think like competitive esports is intuition, and ML beats some serious players in Dota. Well, yeah, so I don't really know a whole lot about kind of the more complicated machine learning algorithms, but most of the things that I've looked at have been kind of things like, just as a really simple example, you know, you would have 2 parameters, for instance, you know, like this, and the question would be, where is it most profitable? And so you would have the machine learning algorithm do this and this, and then it would find a spot here and it would find a spot here, you know, and here's the testable area. And then it would test the edges and say, okay, this is the most profitable one. And then, you know, on a regular interval, it recalculates that and goes, oh, okay, now this is the most profitable one. So then it would start using this and it can switch, right? So then you can get into something like, okay, whenever I get a spike, is it a reversal or a continuation? And it can use machine learning to kind of look at the most recent history and determine if we're arranging or trending and whether or not it should try to reverse or continue. That's the way I understand most machine learning. But we're getting into something that's like I can tell, okay, it's on the inside. You know, they're going to pull, trade down, pull, trade up. You know, I can see that pattern by hand, and I know that most of those orders are just algorithms trading, right? I know that's an algorithm that just sold that. But how do I represent that programmatically? Especially trying to do it where, I mean, every time something changes, I can do a loop, but then I have to like record a series of those changes and then somehow take that series of changes and identify it as a pattern, you know? So basically you've got an array with the last, 100, 200 changes or something like that. How do you analyze that and find a pattern in it? That's way beyond me. Okay, position, level filter. Okay. And I got this like super ugly and statement. To trade and learn it should be able to make some money. I don't know though. The thing is I don't know if their robots do that kind of an analysis, you know? Or, you know, just take the last X volume things and say, is it going to tick up? I think that they're kind of more simple than that. Maybe there's too much hype about machine learning. Well, you know, so the other thing is that what's something that's really common with machine learning is they'll, you know, show oh, you know what, I just remembered. I'm all slowing down because I'm remembering something that I might need to stick in there. Oh, maybe not. Well, anyways, you'll have some sort of you know, you'll have a set of building blocks, and then you tell it, okay, do, you know, put all of these building blocks together in random ways and show me which one is the most profitable. And, you know, it'll do a generation like that. And then the next generation, it will base it off of that particular one that was the best. And then it'll keep going and iterating and becoming more and more geared in, I suppose you could say. It's like the program is evolving. And so you know what the building blocks are, but you have absolutely no understanding of how it put them together. It's kind of like when I'm going into some of my things, I might do something like, okay, what if we get an iceberg here and the CCI is above 100? Okay, well, that's one thing, but maybe there's some correlation where when we're above 100 and when we're below negative 100, the behavior is different. And when you have two variables like that, all of a sudden there's like eight different ways that you can do that particular thing, right? And every variable that you put it on, it just increases exponentially. And so you can use machine learning to just, you know, put all the building blocks together and have it figure out, you know, one that works. I think that's the way that a lot of that sort of stuff works. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. And then for the min level filter is going to be 3. Let's see if that does it. Anyways, the thing is I think if we're trying to trade discretionary, the machine learning is maybe of limited utility. Okay, so I can see there's a lot of changes there, and I'm not getting stuff over here. So that already is good. And I can see this is 16 and this is 23, for instance. So that's good. Maybe I got it to tell me what I want. And I guess I should go over here into my chart and say, because it's gone pretty much sideways, this just went range. But we'll put it at, maybe you could have made 2. Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I guess at 7:15, we're probably not going to get Ace today, but I wanted to talk about the, did you guys see the Top Gun trailer? Oh my gosh. It was so cool. Like the whole thing where they're like flying along the desert and then he hits the air brake and turns straight up and all that stuff was like, whoa. Uzi is unusually quiet. Well, he kind of put his 2 cents in at the beginning. You know, he probably has made so much money today. He's coming in here looking at today and being like, I don't know if it's worth it. Okay, so I am seeing definite differences. Do you see that the asks changed there off of that uptick? No, so the bids pulled. Uzi says, like the market. Yeah, this is a crappy market, man. When you look at the number of bars that we've gotten since the open, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Anyways, I was not expecting a Top Gun trailer at all. And it looks to me like the story might be completely stupid. I mean, really, with a remake like that, and you know everything that's involved and stuff, there has to be a possibility, right? That it's just going to be a really dumb story, okay? But the cinematography on the planes alone is going to make that movie worth watching. That was just so cool looking. My primary bias filter is the entire day's range right now. Yeah. So Uzi is basically saying that he can't really do much of anything unless we break the high or the low. Well, there's Nicholas. Good morning. Good morning. So, what do we see here? I think what we see is that even here, it doesn't really... Well, there are differences, but they're so subtle and only like a dozen at a time. And that might change if more people got in the market. I'm debating taking small trades off of the swing indicator, but those would be super guessy. Yeah, right. Oh, man, Lucas. Oh. Why do you have to bring that up? Lucas says, it seems now they want to make a PC Bond movie without toxic masculinity and gender neutral. Well, so here's my understanding of it. Daniel Craig has signed on to a couple new movies, so he's still like James Bond, but the movies are basically going to be he is retired, and there is a new Agent 007 who is a girl. So like James Bond is still there, right? But he's not 007 anymore. And that to me is actually a fairly interesting premise, perhaps. Hear me out. Okay. Just the idea of James Bond training another person is kind of interesting to me. Right? And it wouldn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, and it being a girl, okay, sure. But then if Daniel Craig disappears, right, the James Bond character doesn't actually exist anymore, and it's a girl, and they try and make the girl to be like James Bond was, you know, some of the characteristics of James Bond, that would just be a total trash movie. You know what I mean? I think it would just be a total trash movie. So the thing is when they were saying like if they had started completely over and they had, you know, just picked a new person and it happened to be a girl, that would be a trash movie as well, I think. I don't think anybody would go and watch it because people go and watch it for the male archetype. You completely try and change it around to a female archetype. I don't think people will find that interesting. There's already shows out there that are like that, you know? And they didn't do that well. Hmm. So I'm seeing a lot of asks pulling. A lot of asks pulling compared to bids, but a lot of bids stacking compared as well. You want to freak your brain, go see the trailer. I watched that one too, but that wasn't as interesting to me. I thought Taylor Swift was in it, and I saw Taylor Swift for a moment, and I couldn't even get a good look at her. Couldn't even tell that was Taylor Swift. you know, so I'm just really into Reddit and like social news media. I've always been in on that, even from like the Slackware days, right? Or sorry, Slashdot days. And seeing it, so I will troll new and top in of the hour on Reddit, and they have a Taylor Swift subreddit over on Reddit, and those guys are so crazy active. I always find it interesting, the subreddits that feel that they should be active, because you don't do that unless you're trying to like recruit. You know what I mean? Why is it that the Taylor Swift fans feel the need to recruit? Isn't that weird? There's something wrong going on here. How come I'm not getting bids? You can also watch the Batwoman trailer. I did not see that one. I'll have to look that one up today. No, it shouldn't be. If I go in here, 0, 0, 0, 0. No bits. You can see the market kind of pausing there at 16. Now they're really like, oh, geez, this is just awful action. Right? Like they upset everybody within that range, and then they just died. That's just... Ugh. So the last one that I see was a bid. But maybe... And let's clear this. I am an independent, strong woman who doesn't need men yet. I take all the stuff a guy made and appropriate it. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to go see it. Is it based off of the new Marvel universe, or sorry, the new DC universe? Oh, Ace did show up. See, we were gonna wait to talk about the new Top Gun trailer until you came in, because I figured with the name and everything that maybe you would be interested in that. But then, it was like 7:15 and you weren't here, so we're like, oh, I guess we're just gonna have to talk about how awesome it was without you. And now that we've talked about how awesome it was, I don't know if we're gonna talk about it again. New Jay and Silent Bob trailer. You can't even see the shark that jumped so hard. What? Did you watch? No, I did not see that. Ace says he did see that. He did see the Top Gun trailer. It was so cool. It was so cool. Well, there's an ask. I'm waiting for a bid to show up here so we can confirm that that I didn't screw something up. I might have screwed something up because I'm not getting any prints in there yet. Kind of weird. Well, if there's no large bids out there, that doesn't speak well to the upside, does it? Maybe the E-mini is just going to take off here and they're just going to sell this. They better not be messing with me. It better be as good as it looks. I'm okay with it being silly, but still, wow. No, but that was the thing as I was saying is like you have to assume that there is at least a possibility that the story is going to be really stupid. Like you have to know that that's there, you know. But the cinematography and everything is going to make it all worth it anyways, you know. And it really looks like the military pulled out all stops for him on this one too. This is going to be a good propaganda film. That's all I got to say. Okay, so we did see some bids show up, and I see them on the chart. So we're okay. And that's a signal. Large bids at 15. We're going to say we are now, I mean, the day is down, but so far I'm going to say it's a range, and we were moving down. Normally it would be a reversal. As long as there are jets and maybe some dogfighting, Goose comes back. Well, no. It's going to be Goose's kid, right? Goose had a kid. Didn't he have a kid? I'm pretty sure that there's a kid. It's going to be like Tom Cruise is training Goose's kid, and the kid replaces Goose, and, you know, they have interpersonal problems, you know, because the kid is a girl or something like that. Oh, wait, whoa, hold on a second. If the kid is a girl, and then there's other stuff in that. I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. But you know where they would take that. And Tom Cruise getting with Goose's kid, that's not right. That's not right. I hope that that's not what's happening. Do you think that they're going to move this today? I'm kind of starting to wonder. See, so when I put on the stacking and pulling columns here, it just looks like noise. It's just noise. You can also see how if you added all of these up, I think that the indicator's working correctly. I think it's working correctly. It's not showing us what I want to see. It's just noise. Well, maybe being able to see the difference between this and this, to see that there is more activity on the offer. I think that matters. Okay, so there was some bids here at 15. Normally that would be a reversal, but I don't think you want to take it as a reversal. I think you wait and see if they trap anybody here first. And then maybe take it at 15.5 if they do. Look at the E-mini though. The E-mini is bidding up into the open. That would be cool. Goose Jr. pulls off the stunt Maverick's dad couldn't complete over Cambodia. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That would be awesome. And wasn't that? Oh, I remember. I can't remember what they were saying in the Reddit thread, but I think that there was something about Iceman being in there, but not being in there because his health isn't very good right now. You know, Val Kilmer, he just let himself go. That guy. Because I remember, you know, when I first saw that movie a couple of years ago. I only knew Fat Val Kilmer. Seeing him in that movie, I was like, oh, wait, I understand why he's a famous name now. That 14.5 is not looking too good to hold, does it? And there was some pull in there at 14.5. Okay, here's the open. Oh. I can trap some people. Look at those stacking at 14.5 and 14. No? It's unclear. It's kind of interesting because it seems like this indicator is a really good job, or at what we're looking at does a really good job at showing you where inflection points are. But even with this, you would think that this would work really well on a slow range bound day. But then the truth is that even on a slow range bound day, the action just ends up being random. Yes, overnight high taken by a tick on the RTH open. Yeah, and they were buying up into the open, and after the open, not a lot of activity, but possibly selling. That is not something I want to trade. So I don't think I'm going to take one in the E-mini today. Unless I see something really change, but just the way that it's behaving right there, that could revert all the way. It could go on for new high. I just don't know. It seems like the market is not that active. Maybe they are just waiting for the consumer sentiment and everything. I mean, that is a fairly important number sentiment-wise for the market, even though it doesn't necessarily move us a ton. Ace trade says same here. Wait another 15 minutes. Yeah, like we can see if at 7:45, if there's a really clear direction, we could take one. I'm still skeptical. The heck was that? That was the jigsaw sound. Why did it do that? I don't know. Anyways, let's do this and this. Stocks rally on Williams 50 basis point, and then they rally some more after Bullard says 25. From Bloomberg, if the Fed isn't explicitly targeting a rally in the stock market, they sure have a funny way of showing it. It was considered pure tinfoil hat conspiracy nuttery as recently as 4 years ago. No. Fart on camera much? No, that was not. Did you guys hear that strange noise? Or maybe you would hear it through my headphones and back into the microphone. Oh, actually, I do have the desktop audio on, so you would have heard it, huh? It's kind of weird. Now we're getting large offers. Man, it's so interesting. Everything goes range today. now I have to put it in. That was down, range. I don't know what this does. Is that 15? And large offers bigger than the last bits. Okay. So I think it would be more interesting with this one to make something to show. I would have to change the indicator significantly to do this, but to show, okay, the difference between all bids and all asks, and the difference between all polls and all bid polls and all ask polls. Now I thought it was one of the dogs, but now I realize it was just you passing what was probably corn on the cob. No, it was the jigsaw day trader. The journalytics notification sound. I don't know why it was like all distorted and stuff. That was weird. And I don't eat corn because it irritates my my intestines. Okay, so we're gonna say that was a bid, large offers, and high activity. And it was a reverse. It was a reversal. Which is not quite what you would expect, but probably some sort of a flipper sort of a move. E-mini turned, so it might just be because of that. It's good for 3 at least. That is one that I think we should remember because we were at the low of the day and then the offer showed up and it reversed. And it was like ranging and it was slow down there. I think I should get rid of this snapshot columns now. Oh, need to fix that. There we go. It kind of goes into a range way too easily today. Oh, Donald Trump is I like New York Fed President John Williams' first statement much better than his second. His first statement is 100% correct in that the Fed raised far too fast and too early. Also must stop with the crazy quantitative tightening. We are in a world competition and winning big, but it is no thanks to the Federal Reserve. Had they not acted so fast and so much, we would be doing even better than we are doing right now. This is our chance to build unparalleled wealth and success for the U.S. growth, which would greatly reduce percentage of debt. Don't blow it. Neil Kashkari fuming. Trump hasn't noticed his eagerness to cut to -1%. Ideally, buyers step up before the gap fill and use those sellers as fuel. You want it to sell, huh? That buying ahead of the open, not following through, is a little suspicious to me. So now we're seeing more bid activity. Actually, this whole day, I think we've been seeing more bid activity. No, that's not quite true. See, in the indicator right now, I have a data series for stacking and a data series for pulling. But if I want to compare bid stacks to offer stacks, I'm going to have to add more. Like I can have the data series underneath and just not show them or something. It's starting to get complicated though. I might need to go and clean up. Oh, there's more. Fed, there's almost no inflation. Well, so what just happened here? What just happened? Not even Donald Trump, not even Donald Trump can get the market to move. Come on, Don. You know what we need? I tell you what we need. We should give Jerome a Twitter account. What do you think? If we gave Jerome a Twitter account, and let him talk whenever he wanted to do, maybe then we could get some action here today. What do you think? And first, so we got to come up with a plan. First, I think we got to set up an account for him, and then we have to convince him to use it. And then we have to convince him that it's okay to say, controversial things with it. I think that we would need to do some some Inception. You know what I'm saying? You know, like the movie. Like we're gonna have to bring Jerome Powell into a dream, and the idea that we're going to plant in him is that I should say controversial things on Twitter. That's what this is. This sounds like an expensive plan. I don't know if the more profit margin on such a plan would be worth it. I don't know. They are ticking up still. 1, 2, 3. Well, wait, we can't say that you'd get 4 yet. I think that you should be able to get 4 though. Adrian, you mean today 3015 is a target? Yeah, he posted it way, you guys scroll like way up. Buyers need to regain a bit above 29.93 for a squeeze continuation. If not, then anticipate another down rotation target to 29.70. So far, I don't know. So we're at a spot where we could take a trade in the E-mini. I can see that on that buy, there was a lot less volume on it. I think that that would normally be good for a sell, except for that it's not in a very good place. I think it's too high. Yeah, but do you really want to sell it at 5 there? I don't know. Especially the way that it's behaving, I feel like that's too much risk. Too much risk for me. Well, I think you could, if you had taken a long at 15, and I am surprised that that did end up eventually reversing, but there you go. Just because it was at the low, and I thought maybe they were going to go for it, but you touched 4, so maybe based on the swing, you could take it off at 3 or 4, but we haven't gotten any other real, action or behavior or signals or anything. So maybe there's more in it. There was that zipper, but it was, there wasn't that much. There wasn't that much messed around with it. I suppose 2 ticks back, though, might be enough to justify you getting out of it, too. Is that... What's John say? I'd have my bias still leaning to the upside in ZB. That rejection of prices 154.1821 is why I'm feeling that way. If I'm right, looking for supply to be tested. 28 to 30 area. Having said that, downside retractors could be 154.14. Followed by a test of yesterday's low in the 08 area. If the move lower can get rolling, we could even see the TPOC from Wednesday tested in the 153.31 area. We shall see. Oh, by the way, we should go in here and look at. Show you guys some stats. Yeah. So see here. So here's like a 24-hour viewership on our channel, right? And here was when we were streaming yesterday. And then here at 3 o'clock yesterday, that was when Uzi commented on the video. You see how many more people started viewing it after he comment? apparently, if you're able to do it within like the first hour of it being put up, if we got like 5 comments within the first hour, that video would probably do like double the views that a normal one does. But today would probably be a bad time to test that sort of a theory because this is just such a boring market. It's for today's session, it's too high, but for the long-term next week projection could be good. Talking about algos setup. Check out Friday expected move for options market. They're expecting a 1.1 move for SPY options. So is that really low? Like that's a 1-point move for the SPY? Well, there is consumer sentiment here in 9 minutes. That could definitely, get these guys to move a little bit at least. So it's not too volatile, says Adrian. I don't know. Like to me, it seems like yesterday Williams came out and just totally threw the market out of whack. And then we wake up this morning and we find out, well, he's not, we're not going to do 2 rate cuts. And I think that's basically the gist of what they're saying is they don't like that the market is trying to price in 2 rate cuts for the July meeting. I do not think it's going to happen. I think whoever has that options trade on should take it off. There's not going to be 2. Anyways. So it's like we were saying earlier, it's like musical chairs, like everybody got kicked out of their chair. and instead of trying to get back in their chairs and then seeing where it goes from here, they all just decided to go home. I think that's what happened. Because really on a Friday with the only thing being consumer sentiment and just kind of like in the summer. Yeah. And you can tell just from the way that it's been trading, it's not very positive action. Look at all the volatility and good action we are not having. The more that we say that, though, the more the market is going to be like, I'll show you. You think this is boring? Here, you just lost $100. Now how boring is it? That's how it goes. Well, we are back into like the profile. This is another thing that's interesting is the point of control is at 16. We got profile from 16 to 20. We're getting just back into the profile and they can't move up from there. If we see like some iceberging and like some volume up here and they're not able to hold that, I think that could be enough to kick us down to a new low. But let's see what they do. I made 4 ticks in UB, which is fine in treasuries, but since I'm trading more and more, the UBI, I expected more. No, man, that's like $100 on one contract. That's good. I'd be happy with that. Okay, 5-minute warning. That time the sound was reasonable. trying to find a sound here. I want to put a sound. I want to try putting a sound into my tape. But I don't think that I want to use the Quake hit sound. I want like the little click one. I want the clicky one. Oh, geez. Y'all gotta make things difficult. Stopping out early, buyers off the highs is normal, just watching to see how deep they let this go. Well, it seems to me like they're doing similar to what they've been doing all week, which is that the market orders want to sell. But all week they've been doing that and nothing, doesn't work. Okay, is this it right here? Maybe I could do that one. No, I think that would be too distracting. Oh, let's try this one. Oh, it's gone. I think that's what I wanted. I'm playing them through my web browser. I'm going through hit sounds from games because I want to make something that every time that one of these come in, it'll make a sound. But I don't want it to be like a really incredibly distracting sound. I want it to be like a really quiet, kind of, just background noise sort of a thing. You dig? Maybe we could use the Overwatch hit sound. Sure. I would go with the tornado siren alerts. No, because that happens way too often for that. Okay, now we need to go in here and we need to go to play sound. This method will only execute once the state has reached state real time. Default behavior is to play the wave in an asynchronous manner, which can result in calls to play sound to play over one another, which is exactly what I want. Can optionally be configured to execute in a synchronous manner. It needs to be in a PCM wave format, which is what we've got. Okay. Let's try it. We'll do the print, and then here we will play sound C:/. No, we shouldn't do it there. Where should we? We should move it to somewhere. Let's just put it in NinjaTrader, huh? NinjaTrader 8. / hit sound overwatch.wave. Compile. So did we ever get another signal here? Well, it went into a range, so maybe it wasn't, but then we get another one that says that we're going to continue higher. That was bids. So let's put it in as that was the read. Deny checking. So we're going to say on this one we got 3, and then bids in range, and so we're going to say it was a range day, and we're trending up, and it was a continuation at 16.5, worth 1, 2, 3, 4. 90 was from earlier, so okay. Let's see here, the tape is here. Okay. So I'm just gonna come over here and F5. So now, aha, do you hear that? Do you have crude traders in your rooms? Yeah, if you go to the Discord, there's crude traders. It's fairly active. Let's see here. How much do we got going on here? I'll show you. It's enough that I mute the channel. Yeah, not a ton of activity this morning, but they're in there. I don't keep tabs on the oil guys as much. I don't know them as well. Maybe we should trade oil one of these weeks. So now we need to go into volume mixer, and we need to, okay. So let's just do it at 40%. So can you hear that? Was that good? I liked that. How did ancient Romans cut their hair? I don't know. You know, man, he comes in here and he just asks a random ass question, and now I'm going to be thinking about that all day. It's a question I've wondered myself with Caesars. There you go. Now I'm going to wonder, I mean, obviously they probably did have scissors, but like, what did ancient Roman scissors look like? Okay, so you are getting an out signal. So it was actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. And I think that you could say here when the bid showed up, maybe let's just say for the sake of argument that it could have gone 2 against you, but okay. So this is range and it's going up. And this is probably a reversal at 19. I like it. What do you guys think about the sound? Does that bother you? Because I kind of like it. I like being able to see like it when it's moving and the order comes in. So I could do something like this. Check this out. I'll add my tape in there and just do everything. Now it'll just go like, it'll just be going off. Oh my gosh. Wow, what the heck? Ah! Oh, shouldn't have done that. Oh, wow. They come in too quickly. They come in too quickly to be able to do it like that. Because it's literally doing it in as fast as it can play this sound, and so it just sounds like junk. Oh man. I like that though. What do you mean? No, it's my level 2 tape, right? So every time that there was a level 2 change, it was making a sound. But there are so many level 2 changes that, okay, so do you see how they try and, how one kind of came in as she went? Hmm. And it was an offer coming out 2 ticks away. I wish we had like better facilities so that we could go in and we could say like, based on how big it is, make a bigger like make a thicker noise. So it goes conk. You know, like change the pitch of the noise. That's what they do for the Quake hit sounds, is like the more damage you do, the more the deeper the sound. There you, oh wow, look at that. So that's interesting to me when they hit it. It's like they're hitting the bid and they stack on it too. I think I could make a hit sound that would be better for like overall, like doing all of them. But even then, I don't think like a shorter one would probably sound a little bit better, but it would probably still sound like just like it would just sound like a hum because probably the number of orders coming in is probably higher than the number, than, um, 44,000 hertz, if that makes any sense. So to do it for real, we would need to, I think you would need something more complicated, you know, some sort of noise generator plugin that handles the number of things. So when a bunch of them are happening at the same time, it sounds a little bit different. Okay. It's kind of interesting the way it's acting here. I like because if I see it tick and I don't hear the sound, it kind of just doesn't do anything. There was a website offering what you were looking for. I remember there was a website that was like, it tried to simulate the floor, the noise on the floor, and but it doesn't. They don't exist anymore. Anyways, but it was using the information from your thing to. But the question is like, how do you put that into NinjaTrader? And yeah. So now I kind of want to be able to read it. Okay, so there were asks. That was one at the ask just right here. So I took a short of the last swing at 28, only one contract, and exited at 23. No, it was totally a good signal, dude. He's all like, oh, I just got lucky. No, it was a good signal. I mean, this thing telling you it was going to reverse. We had a strong market up, and then all of a sudden there was a ton of activity, and it goes through it for two and ranges and comes back. Okay. So some bid activity there. So we're going to say that's the end of that swing. How much was it? 19, 1, 2, 3. I should really change that. We should really make a component that allows us to just, to paint them correctly and all that sort of stuff. That requires a little bit more work than I've only done once where I've tried to make a component, and I guess I'll put it over here. So it's not blocking anything. You can download the May 6 Flash Crash audio from YouTube. Wait, really? That exists? That's a thing? Let's look. I might just go and make my own sound because I think that that one is a little too hissy. It's a little too hissy. Well, I can see people with charts of it, but not of the floor. Oh, futures bit. No, maybe not. Had a copy somewhere. Well, there is that audio of the guy. He used to like call the price out. I have seen that. That would be distracting, right? It'll definitely make you feel there. Ben Lichtenstein says Dojo. Yeah, I'm not. I remember there was a guy that used to call out the price from the pit, and people used to pay to hear it. But I think he stopped doing it, or they don't do it anymore. It wasn't popular. Yeah. Okay, no, that's not what we're going to use. Wouldn't mind if you called a few prices out periodically. Well, which prices in particular? Well, we should do something like we should every so many minutes or something we should go through and we should list out where they are or something like that. I don't know. There is a price squawk thing that's built into Jigsaw. How does that work? I don't know where it's at. Is it in options? No. I don't know. I know there's a price squawk thing somewhere. I don't know what these do. I swear there was something somewhere. Oh, maybe it was, I know what it is. It's in the summary tape. No. Is it in this tape? Don't know. Well, it gave us another. Oh, this one was a reversal. I think that this come down here, you would be out now. 1, 2, 3. And now it's doing this within the range. I can't really tell what it's going to do. I guess I don't consider that a signal. Yes, price squawk. You can search for it on YouTube. They have a channel. Yes, that's right. For the guy that was calling out the pit. I just think that hit sound is too long and hissy. So now I'm thinking, like, let's pull out. We'll make some. No, I don't want to take up the whole screen. I'll put it over here. Okay. New. What should we use? Let's use Diva. Make sure I have it on the right audio. Okay, I do. Yeah, cool. There you go. Make it very, very, very quiet. And have like literally no sustain. I don't know. I don't know. I think I should do a band pass. Yeah. Sure. Nah, I don't think that really helps. No, I don't think that helps either. Sure. And then just make sure that I'm not making the file bigger than it needs to be. Okay. I forget where you export. There we go. Wave file, between loop. tick. Oops. Funny that we haven't gotten any new ones since I've been doing this. Yeah, this folder right here. Okay. And then over here, we need to open up this one and just steal this from here. Sound. It might be doing that because I did something funky. Anyways. Okay, so now we'll pull out our tape and we will just call for tick.wave. And then where's our, oh, it's right there. Okay, clear. Okay, so with Jigsaw tools and your ability to read flow, why not scalp? Well, I mean, that's what we're trying to do here. So the problem has always been that I'll get in one and I'm looking for like 4, and then you don't get 4. You don't notice a lot of these, you're not even getting 4 on them. Oh, by the way, there was a signal there that I missed while we were messing with all that. So this was range, reverted at 17, high activity. Anyways, so I would be like looking for like 4 ticks, right? And then you don't get it. And then I'll get like, you know, something, you know, you get something like this. And so then you're like, well, I want to get the whole thing. And maybe you get to 17.5 and you get, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so maybe you get to 18 and you get 4 ticks and you go, okay, maybe I should take it off there because I got 4, right? But then it keeps going, and how do you know that it's going to keep going? And I always had a hard time with that, and so it was kind of always turned into a question of like, Where should I be taking the profit and how much should I be taking and everything? And then we came into this summer action, which I'm just very, very poor at, and seeing like the revert and all that sort of a stuff. But now that I'm getting this thing, I think the amount of times that it reverts when I see something like this, pretty much most of the time. I'm going to say 60-70% of the time it reverts. Okay, so there it went. Did you hear it? It is very, very soft. But that just means that I can put this back up. I'd say look at contacts. In a day like today, if you trade CN, you can't legitimately hope for more than 4. And I agree. So then but the thing is that with the way that I'm looking at things now, I think that what I have done is I've taken things that I was looking at before anyways, but I've just basically created ways for me to see it. One, in a quantitative manner, and 2, immediately. So like I know now, okay, it ticked there. There was a bid when it ticked up, okay, at 18. And that's a here in this particular context, I don't know if I would be taking it per se, but I don't know. We're still working this out and we're still testing this, right? So we're not taking a trade, but I think that you take it for a reversal here at 18.5. It did reverse at 17. It went 1, 2, 3. You could get 3 out of it. I met a guy a while back that flipped 40 lots for 2 ticks in ZN. Oh. Well, you know, in John Grady, his channel, and he has some, like, what do we call them? Endorsements, or, you know, people that have been successful using his method. And there was one guy that said that all he does is look for absorption and backtick and takes a tick out of it. And he was running like 10 lots. So yeah, you can definitely do it. I don't think that my strategy has the I don't think that I get the win rate necessary in order to go for 1 tick. Okay, I would have to be getting like 80-90%, and I'm really like 50-50. Even if I was only taking 2, I think that I would still only be like 55%. So I couldn't take 1. Maybe 2 or 3 might work. But I think with what I'm seeing right here, I think that this should just really tighten up things for me. You know? I don't know who it was, but it was one of the testimonials on John Grady's channel. Okay, so now it is ranging. I would get out. I think. This is one of the questions that I've had. This is when you get in and then it ranges. Is it better to wait to see it go out and try to take it as she goes when it goes out? Or is it better to just exit? And what do you know about brain boosters to help in trading? Well, I haven't really gotten into like a ton of the nootropics or anything. Okay, so there was 2 orders that time. That was interesting because it did sound a little different. And he has another one of Matt who's 25 and has been trading profitably for 6 years now, really. You know, and those are people who took the webinar, which is kind of weird because I've watched some of his webinar. This is the thing that I think is so weird to me. Well, not so weird to me, but like, oh man. It was like I watched a webinar of his. Somebody sent me that they had recorded it and they gave it to me, and so I was watching it. And there was one day where he had taken trades, and well, it was a day that I had traded, so I went back and I looked at what I had done in that day, and he was like, "Well, here's where I don't like to touch it," and so, you know, and I realized on that day I was trading in areas that I shouldn't have, and you know, I had since then changed things anyways, so that was like something that I already knew. I looked back and I was like, oh yeah, I was really bad at that back then, right? But then I watched another day and it was trending down against him, and it kept giving him reversal signals. So he kept fading it and it was running over him over and over and over again. And I was like, holy shit, that happens to me all the time. It happens all the time. So it was kind of interesting, you know, in that respect. Um, just that it was like, it seemed like I had kind of arrived at similar things to him. But I think that the difference comes in, well, first in experience and recognizing the context of them. But then second, I think that it was kind of more of like my own mental things, you know? Um, but now with this, I feel like I should be able to tighten it up because there's going to be so many of these trades where it's like, yeah, I would have taken that, but then I wouldn't have known to get out here, and now I do. That's pretty good. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's a nice subtle sound. Even here, it's really soft. I probably should have made it a little louder. I don't know if I want to go back in and what are you saying here? That happened last webinar I attended. He got run over like 3 times, but managed losses really well. Eventually ended his day with profits. Yeah, and that was another thing, is it seemed like he takes more trades than I do. But he's only taken like 2 ticks on a loss. I don't think it's very often that he loses the full 4 ticks. Oh, did we say, yeah, okay. So we said it was a short, and it is going down. I wish I had saved that project instead of just closing it down, because now I want to go and modify the sound. Let's try doing it a different way. Let's try doing it with a wavetable. Serum. A wavetable. Okay. No sustain. I think I want one like that. And then I think I want another envelope that is even shorter. It has no attack on it. It is really short. I can attach this one to filter. Yeah. I'd say I'd watch an entire webinar of him. It's not the individual trades he makes, it's mentality he brings to the game. It definitely changed my mentality, the way that I approach trading. You have to watch everything without skipping parts. So yeah, well, and that's what I did, was I was watching everything. I was watching it at like double speed though. But oh man, like that's a lot to watch, isn't it? And you're not really as into it as you're going to be when you're on the thing. Anyways, do they have any really good noise ones in here? But we could do something like one of these spectral. Nah. I really want something really. Nah. Something really, really out there. Could maybe go with a saw sort of a thing. Maybe. So then I want to like find a. So watch only recaps. I don't think that helps. You need to watch the entire session to understand how he processes context, which is the most important aspect of trading for him. Interesting that they kind of pushed it around there. I think that it's done. Okay, so analog flow. Yeah, MS5, I kind of like that. Hear that? I wish that it gave me multiple noise oscillators. I wonder if maybe you can just take the noise oscillator and put it into one of these. Now, do I need is this still? So then what I can do is I can do from here. Well, that's interesting. And that only works on the oscillator. I might just leave it at that. Actually, no, I do want. There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I think I should make it a little bit louder than that. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Cool. Export mix down. And we'll call this one chirp. Gotta bounce. Yeah, we're gonna shut it down here, but I will see you guys next week. Yeah. I appreciate your comments there about the context thing. No, we're gonna do this thing for another week, and then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm going to spend a week trading every single one. Like literally every time that I see an actionable reversal, like right here, I would be going long right now. Well, maybe not right now because it's like crappy market, but trying to trade almost every swing and seeing what happens. Anyway, all right, catch you next week, Lucas. Okay. So now come in here and I'm going to do chirp. And clear this out. See if we hear it. Hello, Linda. We got some more people on DLive. I wonder if there's been something going on DLive this week because we've been seeing a lot more people stop in and say hi on that platform. Can they hear my wife upstairs? The dogs are all uppity. Okay, so now you're really getting an increase in activity at 16.5. It'd be interesting to see. Whoa. Okay, but I did not hear. Maybe it's because I have this open. We'll save it this time. Make sure that I have. Yeah. And refresh this. Because there was stuff there and I didn't hear it. They are stacking it there at 16.5 though. And the E-mini is kind of looking ugly. Are they going to kill E-mini? There you go. What do you guys think of that one? I like that. I like that the most of all, I think. You want to try putting it in where it just keeps, where it's on the full tape? Let's put it on the full tape for a second. Level 2 tape. Chirp.wave. See, you just get like that. It almost sounds like an oscillator at that point because there's too many. If there was some way, maybe if I made it like literally the shortest sound you could possibly make. Oh, you know what? I think I actually do have that somewhere. Oh, come on. Hold on. Oh, man. Okay, I'm not going to put you guys through that. So, wow. So what happened there was that they were going, it just kept playing them because it was so far ahead of the market. So that's interesting. Like it was actually processing loops long after I took the thing off. They're pretty strong stack there, 16.5 that they left. So I have somewhere, I have another click that I made. Where is that one? That must be on my old disk. Yeah. It would have been under like what projects? No, not projects. No. Hmm. I could possibly pull it out. Oh well. That one was like as short as it could possibly be. But no, I think that I would have to do something to say, like if you played it, if you've already played it in the last X milliseconds or something like that. You could make it really complicated. But then NinjaTrader probably wouldn't be able to handle it. You'd have to pass it off to something else. You'd have to have another process running and it receives the messages and then, that process running on its own would do it. Because I think if you tried to do all the logic from within NinjaTrader, that it wouldn't be able to handle the threads correctly. I like that dicky dick. How much was this? 1, 2, possibly 3. I also think you got to be looking for, probably should be looking for 3 on this. Yeah. Because that's just because that's what the swing has been. You know? Okay, well, we should make sure we take our picture. Okay. Where are you? Right here. Yesterday we forgot to put it in. Anyways. Oh, it crew just broke, huh? So I think on that one you take 3. And you just take it at the 18 and be done with it. You don't know if anything's going to happen for the next, 30 minutes or whatever. Okay. Well, this has been an interesting week, and it's going to be fun trying to trade with all of this when we get to, the end of next week. And then we can kind of work from there. Anyways, it's been fun, guys. I will see you guys next week. As always, leave a comment on the video. The sooner you leave the comment, the better that it does for the video. But let us know what you thought of the day and what you were looking for and stuff, because then we can kind of use that information when you're looking back to kind of see what kind of a day it was. So if somebody's like, trying to practice a specific type of action or something like that, they can just find it, as always, check out the Patreon. If you haven't checked out the Patreon, we got some good stuff over there. And I will see you guys next week. In the meantime, stay profitable.